Why did the devil name his tree the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat, for in what day soever thou shalt eat of it, thou shalt die to death. Genesis 2:17. Interpreting Scripture with Scripture. Interpreting Scripture with Scripture, according to the Pontifical Biblical Commission, the interpretation of the Bible in the Church, Section B, Number 3. First, let's ask the question, where did the concept of good and evil come from? The concept of good and evil came from God. God taught Adam and Eve what was truly good and what was truly evil. Interpreting Scripture with Scripture, and the following verses confirm this truth. He, God, created of him, Adam, a helpmate, Eve, like to himself. He gave them counsel, and a tongue, and eyes, and ears, and a heart to devise, and he filled them with the knowledge of understanding. He created in them the signs of the Spirit. He filled their heart with wisdom. He showed them both good, the ultimate good, the tree of life, the state of everlasting life, and evil, the devil's tree, death. Ecclesiasticus 17:5-6. And here we are using Scripture, Ecclesiasticus 17:5-6, to interpret Scripture, Genesis 2:17, the meaning of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Since God can reveal to Moses God's words, I am who am, Jesus' apostles and disciples, the state of everlasting life, Jesus' resurrection on the third day, yet we are to believe that God will not reveal the state of everlasting life to Adam and Eve through the tree of life before original sin. Please, this theology is for the thinking person. Since we know that God taught Adam and Eve what was truly good and what was truly evil, yet why did the devil name his tree the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? The devil, being clever, seized on the concept of good and evil and presented his own version of good and evil. Thereby, through the inversion of the concept of good and evil, the devil's words destroy the very concept of good and evil. Here, Adam and Eve must decide whose presentation of good and evil will they accept. Will it be God's version of good and evil or the devil's version of good and evil? By partaking of the devil's tree, Adam and Eve accepted the redefinition of the concept of good and evil. And this was deadly indeed. Adam and Eve accepted the devil's presentation of good and evil and believed that it was good to be their own gods, and that God was lying and hoarding power, and this is evil. And the serpent said to the woman, No, you shall not die to death. God is a liar. For God doth know. God knows about this power, and he is depriving you of it, and this is evil. That in what day soever you shall eat thereof, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, and this is good, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3:4-5. In their thoughtlessness, Adam and Eve insulted God, and they chose power over their relationship with God. And this power was attached to the rejection of the concept of good and evil offered by God. This was the deadly sin. Through the inversion of the concept of good and evil, the devil was allowed to transmit spiritual and physical death into the material realm through the tree of death, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And you thought the story was about Adam and Eve eating from a little fruit tree, but now you know it is much deeper than that. Bring about the unity of faith through the revelation of the tree of life, the theology of divine perfection, by Angelina Galassi. For without the tree of the cross, there is no redemption. The gates of heaven will not open, and there is no resurrection. The tree of the cross is the tree of life. Thank you for visiting us today. Visit us also at www.treeoflifetheology.org.